The power of being alone. One of the best moments in my career, at least with this channel, it was a week where I was completely alone in the house. It was just my mother just went away to Europe to get her treatment. That was obviously before her death. And also, nobody was in the house. So in that time, I had all the time in the world to do whatever I want. And I decided to double down, film my videos. In that week, I spent 13 hours just in the filming process. It means like just recording. And also, I've made, in the span of 2 weeks, I've made 84 videos. Every video is about 20 minutes length. You can do the math. That's a lot. Now I would say that is my record. I mean, I wouldn't even say, I know. That's my record in my entire life of what? Since I was 14 years old filming videos, that was my record. And you know how this idea has came to me again is right now, you know, I got that idea again. I was like, I'm a little bit lonely. I'm a little bit alone, you know? I'm spending more time in the house. And I said, well, that is good. So I was thinking, why did I say that is good? And that's why I decided to make this video as well. I also realized that the moments when I'm more myself, my house is cleaner, I eat better, I mean, at least with a peace of mind. I do more, I'm more productive, I'm more focused. I'm just better. You know, all around better. And just more performative, better performance, just say that. Which got me thinking a little bit. Yeah, right? And how does being alone or being lonely can actually help you with these things? Right? So, to make this clear, I'm not here, you know, for my lonely guys, for my lonely men. No, this is for my grinders, for my performers, right? The people who grind. So when you're alone, you're like, this is what it takes to be a winner. This is what it takes to be successful. This is what it takes to be a grinder. But at the same time, you don't want to be the type of guy who's just lonely and alone and has no friends. So it's almost, there's no balance. Obviously, there's no balance in the world. But there is a way you can go through it. There is a method you can follow, which is such an interesting ideology as well, right? Now, let's break it down more. I'm going to give 2 periods in my life. Both of them was the most alone, right? So I already gave you the first week that I told you about, my most performative week in my career with YouTube. And also, I'll give you the other time, which was in 2022, the first 6 months, the first 2 trimesters, I was alone. But there was more of a lonely, there was more of a, you know what they say when being alone, you can be alone but not lonely, right? And you can be lonely but not alone. Is that you can be alone with people? No, you can be alone without being lonely, and you can be alone, you can be lonely with people being with you. Is that even if people are with you, you can be lonely. But you can't be alone with people if they are with you. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense. Just like if you understood it, you know? So in that period, it was more of a lonely with some people, whatever. I didn't care about, who cares about them? And, you know, around me. So I wasn't really alone, but I was lonely, which really feels, I think that's what really alone is. But, you know, long story short, that was horrible. That was terrible. That was a psychology torture. Let's just say that. Now, the difference between those two, I'll say, even today, man, you know, I come back to the house and I'm lonely. I'm not lonely. I'm alone. I'm alone. And I'm like, God damn, bro. Like, I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm not really going out. I mean, even yesterday, I had my final exams yesterday. I just have my graduation presentation next week. It's all what I have. And I came back home. I went to social media, scrolled a little bit, whatever. I was watching videos, different videos. And I decided, you know, to go out. And I said, man, do I go out alone? And, you know, it's almost like this urge to sort of, you know, just socialize, whatever. And I said, look, yeah, you go out alone. Just what it is. Like, what do you think a high performer? What do you think is the best version for yourself? What do you think the most successful person of you will do? Yeah, they will take the bike, go upper your mileage, and at the same time, you're taking a look at the city, the most luxurious, streets of the city, looking at cars and people, men and women, all of them, the most richest people you've ever met in your life. Even if you don't talk to them, you're just looking. It's better. And also upping my mileage with a bike. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is I even have this urge of, oh, I need people, I need to socialize, I need to this, I need a woman, I need to, go to talk to girls outside. Which I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. There's anything wrong with that, right? But there is a period for that, right? There is a time for that. There's a time where we want to go and talk to women outside of the house. There's time. Raise up girls, there is time for that, right? Socialize, there is time for that. Also, there's time for being alone. And look, it's not coming from a person who has any type of dopamine, whatever bullshit, social media. I mean, at least that was a trend at some point. I don't know if people care about it now. But look, I don't care. I have the longest attention span I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I've ran for 7 hours. I ran long distances, no headphones, no music, right? It is what it is. I never wear headphones. I mean, I wear when I'm in libraries studying, learning, but I have to. I can't just play the video, the teacher, the professor's video, and everybody's studying. That is not respectful, and I shouldn't do it, right? And it does have nothing to do with bravery. Now, going back to the point of being alone or being lonely, I've always heard that, being successful or striving for greatness come with a price, which is being alone or lonely, or you come through a period when you are lonely. And I wouldn't say specifically it is what I'm going through at all, like not even close. I don't think it's that. So, right, so there is a time for that. Maybe you are experiencing that, which is fine. Kudos for you. I would say the only thing with that is almost like you have to stress test this as well. Because a lot of the times you have the perceived value or you just have a perceived image of yourself that you are more successful than everybody else, but you're not actually looking at the metrics. Like, how much money do you make? First thing, how much money do you make? And then look at the people around you. Do you make more money than them? Most of the times you're like, no, okay, you're not better than them, so just chill. What about that? But and I know a lot of people will say, oh, money is not everything and it's not the metric. First of all, fuck you, with all due respect. Fuck respect as well, fuck you if you say that. But let's go back to the point. So one of the biggest twists that I've had in my life, which is 2 periods in my life, almost like antagonists, which is now the period that I am in 2023, which is when I was in college. When I was in college, at least the first formal year in college, like proper year in nursing college, I felt the most alone, with the exception of 2022 that I told you about. But I felt the most alone, but here's the catch. But I was with people all the time. I mean, my class had like 67 people or 80 people, 70, something like that. So there is that, right? Also, I had a lot of people. I was meeting different people. And in that time, my relationship quality was way better than before because I was more of a long-term thinker. And look, the people that I made back then, I'm still back. They're definitely in my roots now. So there is that. But the core idea of there and the main difference between then and that, it was in that particular moment, I was afraid of being alone. It was driven by fear. I was genuinely afraid to be alone. I was scared to be alone. So to compensate for that, I was, making favors to people. Just doing whatever, almost like a people pleaser. Never say no to people. Always say yes. Always be down to different things. Be almost open-minded in a bad way. I like open-mindedness in the term of, I'm pretty sure it's explained by by David Goggins in his book Can't Hurt Me, Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich, and I'm pretty sure Tim Ferriss as well in his book 4-Hour Workweek. They talk about open-mindedness in a way of being open for new opportunities, for new perspectives. More, not perspectives a lot, but more opportunities. So that's what being open-minded is. There, I was the bad open-minded, which means if there is people who are against all my principles, I'll still deal with them and just, become friends with them, which is the thing that I don't do now. And it's not as if, I have high standards. I have no shit, bro. But I know who's gonna fuck me up. And I become who I am, right? I'm almost polarizing when it comes to people, at least in my college or my class. Whether you're with me or you're against me, there's no such thing as just don't care or whatever. You're with me or against me. And this polarizing idea, almost, so I don't remember the author, but in the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, he talks about this and he says, the people who have the nice guy syndrome, almost if they do the opposite, it's almost like you push people away. You're like, fuck you. Genuinely, you say to people, fuck you. And you be like, you do the worst possible thing. I mean, obviously the worst is not what you think. But for me back then, the worst is probably say no. Or say fuck you. I would never say fuck you to anybody. Not even in a billion years. Not even hypothetically. Not even a close. Not even a metaphor. Right? But when you say to a lot of people, fuck you, and you are ready to fight with people because you believe in certain things, and if people are disrespecting certain things, you're ready to fight with them, what you realize is a lot of people actually agree with what you think. And those people, because you're polarizing, those people are pushed into you closer than everybody else. So you have people that are pushed away, and then you have people that are pushed into you. Very close, very reliable. And as long as you have good principles and good values and you are actually working on yourself and you are the best version of yourself, what you will often realize is that those people are probably the best people in the class anyway. So a lot of the times, and what I used to say at least last year in the college group, I used to say, I really don't care about the 87 people in my class. My hope is just to have one motherfucker who's good. So I'm not looking for quantity as much as I'm looking for quality. And it's a volume game, right? You're not gonna find the person first time. To find the right person, you gotta go to talk to 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, etc. So this perspective, or this ideology, is something that I didn't know, didn't believe in, didn't understand back then. So I was scared to lose people. A lot of the times doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And a lot of the times, some people I should have said no to. Fuck you to. And now, people expect me to say no. People expect me to say fuck you. Because they've seen that, which is weird. But also, I have probably the most closest people ever. I would say probably have the best relationships in college, or my class at least. Relationships, and also, oh yeah, I forgot. Also, you find yourself that you make relationships with the people who matter. The people who matter in the class, yeah, they're close to me. The professors, they're close to me, bruv. More than any student. Because guess what? Students not giving me the grades. The professor are. So fuck you, fuck the students. Fuck you, students. Professors, yeah, welcome. I'm gonna talk to you. What do you want? Favor? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. You have a whole bunch of shit. You can use me. Use me, please. And that's how it is. But what I'm explaining here is the difference between the two periods. So being alone is not a constant definition. It's not a definition that everybody agrees on. You can be alone and someone else be alone, or like me, is the same person but being alone in different periods and has a completely different signification. Have a completely different meaning. It's almost like heaven and earth, right? Different. That's what it is. So being alone is not a constant. Don't fear to be alone. In fact, which is the craziest thing, the more you fear to be alone, the more alone you become, because people will notice that you just talk to them because you don't want to be alone. And the more you are, head-headed, whatever that word is, head-headed, head first into loneliness. I'm not scared of being alone. I'm not scared of being alone. I'm not scared of being lonely. I mean, fuck. For the most of my life, I've been alone. The hardest periods of my life, I was alone. Nobody was with me back then. When I was crying, when my mother was crying, nobody was with me back then. Nobody was with me, right? When I was sleepless, sleeping on a wooden chair, sleeping on the floor, sleeping standing, nobody was with me. And when I was sleeping at 5 a.m., waking up at 9, nobody was with me. I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm not afraid of being lonely. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, is almost like a divine force that people see and notice. They're like, oh, that guy is not afraid of being alone, right? And here's the thing, also I want to add. I'm not sure if you've heard this, but the closer people get, the worse they get. Because, if someone's close to you, you're like, come on, bro, get away from me. Don't get too close. Let's keep a sweet spot, right? It's almost like a cookie. You eat one, and you're like, oh, that was good, right? If you stop there, it's the best cookie you've ever tasted in your life. But if you eat an entire jar, then you're like, that's kind of mid. That was that was a not good at all of a cookie, right? Why? Because you have too much of it. That's why luxury restaurants, they give you just a little bit. Just a little bit. Why do you give me a little bit? It's a luxury. It's a luxury, almost like a procedure or, a process. That the more expensive things get, the closer or the smaller they get. Or, okay, let me state it that. The more scarcity they portray. Because food you have a little bit of food, it's scarce. You don't have a lot. You're not eating until tomorrow. You're not eating until your stomach gets filled. You're going to eat and you want more, but you can't get more. So you want even more. But obviously it's expensive, so you don't. So even with people want me, but they don't get enough of me. So they want even more of me, but they can't get it. So they have this desire. It's true. It's true. So yeah, I mean, obviously this shouldn't be your driving force. Like, oh, I'm going to be alone because people, I want them to actually value me and if you think I'm scarce. I mean, sure, whatever standpoint on leverage you want to take, but it's just not a good way, That's too much thinking of people. It's just like a side effect, a side cost or a side bonus or effort, whatever, it is for you. That just comes with it. So here's some sort of, another way to portray it. All this, almost like sum it up in another way to portray it. So it's easier to understand. Grinding, going after it, being a go-getter, striving for your goals, thriving, actually going after your goals and success and aspirations and your dreams and goals and whatever, and actually trying. I dislike the word trying. Actually winning, actually being on an upward spiral, actually achieving, actually being in constant action, being in constant action, achieving constantly. That almost like a price, indirect price that comes with it, is being a sort of at least a little bit of being alone, whether you like it or not. And it doesn't have to be bad or good. It just is. You are a little bit alone. And that's just what it is. You can't really change it that much. So what are you gonna do? You might as well fucking win anyways. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I do, for fuck's sake. So fuck you. Anyway. So for this, with this note, make sure to fucking subscribe.